Hello everyone, it is I, Ryan, also known as the Lovebat, and I am here after a bit of a, long delay, hiatus, whatever you want to call it, to go ahead and continue my Let's Play of the original Diablo. So, it's obviously been a while, so I'm having to refresh my memory a little bit on some of the events that were going on previous episode. But if my memory recollects well, we had finally gotten to the first level of the sort of final section of the game, which is generally considered the Hell section beneath the Cathedral. You first have the Cathedral section, then you have the Catacombs, then you have the Caverns, and I think that last time we finally completed the Caverns section in some sense, and we found the entrance to the first level of the Hell sort of section. So we're moving on to the nitty gritty here of this sort of gothic fantasy type RPG, where this first game, for anyone who's ever played like the second Diablo game or the third one, this is definitely more on the gothic horror side. They had to make better use of the atmosphere, the music, the audio, and the general nature of the game is definitely more on the side of you have to be much more careful, and you have to kind of play like the enemies that you're facing are major threats to basically killing you. You're far from invincible, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Some enemies are just going to be a really tough challenge. So this game is definitely, as you've probably seen, much different from that. Obviously, the Belzebub mod that I'm playing with does make some enemies more threatening throughout the course of this Let's Play, but it does also add lots of interesting things that weren't in the original game. For example, the cutscenes that we've seen with the Butcher quest, which a lot of people are probably familiar with, and to my knowledge, the Butcher also makes an appearance in Diablo 3, though definitely nowhere near as frightening in that version from the footage I've seen. I have not personally played Diablo 3 before, so I can't attest to it firsthand, but I've seen the footage, and the first game of Diablo is definitely just on the gothic horror side, definitely more menacing with the atmosphere compared to the later games and to most other RPGs in general. But it also offsets that by having an interesting story and an interesting villain that you're kind of up against, and other sort of side villains such as King Leoric and his little side quest that we did to try and free his soul from the curse that kind of, not that he was really lamenting from, but it sort of overcome him because of his grief for his son. And so we're still looking for his son, but we haven't really found him yet, obviously. But we're hopefully in the final section of the game here. We're going to go ahead and lay things to rest. We also had some side quests that we completed. If I remember last time, we took a portal. I think maybe it was somewhere in the or it might have been 2 episodes ago. I can't quite remember. But we took a portal from the Catacombs to go to some sort of Magus type location of different kinds of not really towers, but more like orb type things orbs on pedestals that were shooting magic at us. It might have been a couple of episodes ago, but definitely one of the more interesting quests that we had. And then we also had a side quest where we ended up dealing with one of the lesser evils. What's her name? Ondariel, I believe. So yeah, we've done some things there, but we have some other side quests here that are a result of the Belzebub mod of restored content that we haven't quite gotten to yet, and I think that one of them we were trying to figure out some kind of area location that I think has another puzzle in it that we haven't figured out yet, I don't think, if I remember correctly, something of that nature. So I think it was the island of the Sunless Sea, I'm assuming.
Hey, you there. Come here, listen up. You know about the island where angels watch? Pick the right rocks, but you better shield your eyes. Shield everything. I know, 'cause I've been there, and... Ale.
Yeah, so we've gotten some semi-clues but we don't really know how to activate this. I'm gonna have to go back and probably backtrack a little bit to try and find out where we can enter that quest. And then there's Fleshdoom here.
I have had a most disturbing experience that I must share with you, my friend. Earlier today, I was called upon to help one of the men that escaped from the labyrinth. He was deranged, violent, and kept lashing out at all of those who tried to calm him. I suspected that he was possessed by some sort of demonic entity, and so began to drive the evil from within him. After many hours, I was able to exorcise a demon who called himself Fleshdoom, but the Hellion fled into the labyrinth. You may think that I am mad, but after speaking with the man and battling with Fleshdoom, I believe that the labyrinth has somehow become a gateway to the underworld. As you descend deeper, you may find yourself upon the doorstep of hell itself. Finally, the man who was possessed retained memories of an ancient demon blade named Shadowfang. If you find the demon Fleshdoom, beware this foul sword. While I fear the dangers below grow even greater, you must find Fleshdoom and slay him. Bring the sword to me and I can destroy it, but do not wield it, for its power can corrupt absolutely.
Yeah, so we have a demon Fleshdoom that we also need to deal with, and he wields a terrible sword named Shadowfang that we have to make sure that we properly dispose of after finding Fleshdoom and, I assume, defeating him, as most of these quests end up having you doing. So we're going to have to try and figure out how to do these. It might involve a bit of backtracking here to try and figure out where we need to do something next and yada yada. So I'll try and do that without tarrying too much here, but let's check. Obviously we have some good gear here that we've accumulated, and we have a couple of items in storage that we can swap out if need be. So we have a couple of spell books here that we might make use of at some point. I don't know if I can get these things. I guess we can't really get them any more lined up than that. Okay, well, so later on we're going to go and come back here and we might swap things out. This is a pretty good stash, but we have such good gear now that we have to kind of prioritize how we want to go and build our character with the attributes and everything. So most of our resistances are pretty damn good or near maxed. And armor class is halfway decent considering that we're not wearing super heavy armor. We do have strength where we could probably wear some better armor than this, but again, the resistances and the bonuses to magic, we really need that in this game more than anyone who's played Diablo 2 but maybe hasn't played Diablo 1 or hasn't played it in a long time. Magic is pretty important for a spellcaster, at least in this game. Strength is somewhat important so you can wield the better equipment, obviously, but for this, and then we talked to Tremaine, I believe.
All I can do now is pray for us all. I have had a most disturbing experience that I must...
Yeah, so we finally had a use for Tremaine here because he doesn't usually talk about anything else. His gossip is always the same. He doesn't really tell you much. But with the Fleshdoom quest, we finally got some words out of him that weren't just the same thing he'd always been saying about praying for us all. So he told us about Fleshdoom, and he has a voice that's much similar to Pepin the healer down here. So yeah, we're gonna go and try and deal with these. Obviously we can't just Talon portal back to where we were before. We do have waypoints here, obviously, that we can potentially use. But I think that hell should be over here. I think we did find the entrance to that. I guess it's the underground passage. I think this is to the place where Andariel is. That's not the entrance to hell, I don't think, anyway. Yeah, this is over to Andariel's spot for her side quest, so yeah, we're not going to go down there. So let's check out, I think we want to go ahead and mana shield, and then let's go ahead and Oh, I don't want to do that. Be nice. It'd be really nice if I could use the mouse wheel for doing things here, obviously. We have the F keys for various functions here for the quick spells. Diablo 2 does make a big improvement in that area where you can use the mouse wheel on your mouse to scroll through the spells and abilities that you have, including things like Town Portal. If you want to make a quick Town Portal to get away from a tough encounter, that's also helpful. You don't have to remember like which key to use. You can just scroll to it and then stop when you find it. I think Heal Other we were using for the Golem spell to heal the Golem. So we'll keep that. Stone Curse can occasionally be helpful, but most enemies worth their salt seem to be immune to Stone Curse. Like the Smith that we fought in the caverns was immune to it. I assume that most other boss type enemies are immune to it at this point in the game. Let's see how far we got with the waypoint. I think I might have tried finding a waypoint. So I think the cave's level 12. I think is one level before hell comes around. So let's go into this and I'll try and get the spells back up here. I think it was F5. There it is. All right. So let's go ahead and get back into the action for the first time in a while, and hopefully I don't die right away, but we'll see. Okay, let's have our golem out. I think lightning is pretty effective here. Because we have the guys that are pretty resistant to fire, like the magma dudes. But they do not do too well against lightning. Alright, so I'm just getting my bearings here for the first time in a while. Looks like we have some kind of thing over there in that direction. It's an entrance or an exit to go up or down a level. Alright, so that's one of the spots for one of our side quest things that we were talking about right before getting into the action. So I do distinctly remember that. Oh. So our firebolt's pretty strong at this point to deal with the lightning guys at the least. And thankfully our mana shield's pretty effective too, so... Take care of rhino dudes, take care of lightning dudes. And just kind of getting back into the feel of it since it's been a while since I've done this game. Yeah, it's definitely a different beast compared to most RPGs, at least the modern day RPGs. Let's heal our golem a couple times before using a potion. Most equipment that I'm not going to use, I'm probably not going to bother with picking it up, since you don't really know the value of the item that you're picking up. Unique items I'll pick up, but most things, if it's not like armor that might sell for a good chunk, then I may just not bother with it at this point. What's this cauldron do? Glimmering cauldron. Mysteries are revealed in the light of reason. I'm not sure what effect that it has on us right now. Obviously, if I went back to look at the recording for every single shrine and whatever that I did, and looked at my stats before and after, then I might be able to figure it out.
I cannot get there from here.
Probably not worth it at this stage. Let's see if we can smash that dude with a firebolt. It keeps moving. Naturally, the enemies, they don't want to get hit, and they'll just keep on moving and grooving the way that we do. Alright, let's head on out of here a little bit. Get back to a spot where we're not so vulnerable. Okay, we'll send a bunch of firebolts in here to see how many guys we can hit when they're in the choke point. Which is quite a few. It's amazing what a choke point can do for you. What's not so amazing is what this golem does for you when he's walking the choke point. Okay. He seems to be stuck still in limbo or something. We do have some mana regeneration items, so I don't necessarily have to always be quaffing potions and everything. Let's help our golem out here and take down a couple of those guys first. Yeah, I'm just clearing out the surrounding area here just to kind of make sure that I'm not going to get drawn into combat. Going slightly off the beaten path, so I'm just taking care of the enemies now so I don't have to worry about it when I'm trying to find like a quest area, or I'm trying to figure out how on earth I backtrack to a certain thing that maybe I need to get. Because I don't know if I need to pick up items for that puzzle up there that I found or not. Pick up some gold, since in this game we have to need at least a bit of money for buying the spell books and everything from Adria. That is a lot of action that I do not want in on, my friends. And we have a unique enemy. That's not what I want. I will want some guardians over there to help me. Get away from the lightning. Sending the golem. Yeah, I think just summoning a couple of guardians there can help out quite a lot. Just have them do the work from a safe distance that can usually be of pretty big help for us. And our golem is doing somewhat okay. Book of Lightning is quite good. I will definitely take that. Rings I'll obviously take because they can sell for a decent amount and they take up hardly any space. Alright, so let's see what our damage does when we go to the spellbook here. We're at 4 to 358 damage. I guess our golem's wandering off to go and do some battle against fiends. So 4 to 358 damage, I think it was. Yeah, 4 to 358. $4 to 390. That is a pretty substantial increase to the maximum damage. It's like 32 to our maximum damage. Plus 32. So, okay, that's actually pretty sweet, actually. Of a reward to get from a unique creature, especially since we are the sorcerer and we kind of need that. Sadly, we're up against lightning enemies in this section of the dungeon, so it's not always going to help with that particular spell, at least.
I cannot cast that.
So let's just summon a couple of these guardians and have them do the work here, because I just don't want to bother with going on over there and having my golem get himself killed. I'll let the guardians take care of that unique creature that Might kill us in a couple of hits if I'm unlucky.
I cannot cast that yet.
Alright, so the Guardians are taking care of stuff. My Golem's in there getting in on the action. Looks like we might have some acid spitters over there as well. Yep, and you don't want to be next to unique creatures sometimes when they go off like that, because I'm sure that it would probably do a massive amount of damage to us. Even though we have plenty of health with Mana Shield, I don't think it would bode well for our future as a sorcerer to be right next to him when he blows up. I doubt there's anything in the barrels, but I might as well do this to see if there's anything helpful. Our Golem's getting in the way again, as usual. Blocking off these sort of tight choke points gets kind of annoying. Nothing there. Probably a couple more enemies down yonder. Not going to bother with the belt. And then I'll make sure that there aren't any substantial enemies over here to worry about when I try and deal with this little puzzle thing over here. Oh, there are. Alright, Golem. Oh. Sometimes this Golem just screws up my pathfinding, and it is kind of annoying to have to deal with that, admittedly. Some of that a couple times, though, my Golem. And then he screws up my pathfinding again. So I'm not sure how I deal with this puzzle yet. I'm still trying to work it out and what I'm supposed to do. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and continue scouting around here. Just to see if I find anything else. I don't know if there's some other kind of clue that I need to look at. I'm not sure if we've looked at that book yet, but obviously it's a lore book. I don't know if I've looked at it yet. They're immune to fire, so let's go ahead and give them a bit of that. Alright, go on, do your thing, man. Buddy old pal. Alright, time for another mana potion. Get hit in the face by lightning like it's nothing. Yeah, the only thing I guess I kind of dislike about this Belzebub mod version, at least the thing that I dislike majorly, is just the sheer amount of chests that are like trapped and stuff. It's like I get it, you know, if it's a dungeon that has like a villain in it that cares about like wealth or knows that the heroes are coming, that kind of thing, but I figured that Diablo and his minions probably wouldn't have bothered to trap all these chests and do things like that. You know, it feels like filler. You know, it feels like filler, you know, that to a video game where they needed to add some other element that they felt that they needed to add in that they didn't really need. They needed to give the rogue something special that they could do, so they had disarming traps. But really, it didn't need it, I don't think. Fire protection cauldron, I don't really need that, but maybe I'll drink from that before I figure out that one quest thing up there, I don't know. Mana potions, I guess. Book of Phasing, I guess. I'll take it. Not really a spell that I ever use, so I can't say I'm really thrilled about it, so... Yeah, I'm just picking up the full mana potions here because they can be helpful just to, keep a steady supply of potions in my inventory here. And I can use the belt in emergencies if I'm up against, or if I get cornered, or if I'm up against a really strong creature that is somewhat unavoidable, then I have these as an emergency where I can just kind of frantically press the number keys to drink those with my mana shield. Let's just go ahead and read this. I don't know if I've read it before in the previous episode. I'm assuming I probably did if I completed the entire level, but to refresh my memory, and I guess the viewer's memory if they haven't watched my last episode in a while, let's go and read this book again.
Hail and sacrifice to Diablo, Lord of Terror and Destroyer of Souls. When I awoke my master from his sleep, he attempted to possess a mortal's form. Diablo attempted to claim the body of King Leoric, but my master was too weak from his imprisonment. My lord required a simple and innocent anchor to this world, and so found the boy Albrecht to be perfect for the task. While the good King Leoric was left maddened by Diablo's unsuccessful possession, I kidnapped his son Albrecht and brought him before my master. I now await Diablo's call and pray that I will be rewarded when he at last emerges as the lord of this world.
Okay, so I think that I do remember reading this book from the previous episode, but it does refresh my memory as far as the events of, I guess, this game that I had not really remembered clearly or right away as far as our progression in the story. So the voice, or I guess the voice narration, I guess, was the character, but who wrote that was the Archbishop Lazarus, who led the mob of people down into the dungeon and all that to try and find King Leoric's son, Albrecht, and was led into a trap by demons and different things, and the butcher killed a lot of them as well, and Farnham the drunk was part of the mob, and he was able to escape with his life, but not before being traumatized and turned into a drunk. So, yeah, that was a journal of the Archbishop Lazarus, and he's trying to go ahead and appease Diablo, and I guess they tried possessing King Leoric, who ended up going mad later, but I guess in their efforts to try and possess the king as a carrier of Diablo for a mortal body, so to speak, to carry Diablo, even unsuccessful in that, they still ended up leading the king to going mad afterwards, so I guess their goals in some way were still accomplished, because when you get a king to go mad, it kind of makes your task a lot easier when they aren't able to inflict swift justice on you or to, retaliate and use the long arm of the law to get back at you for, kidnapping their son. And a king, if they don't have a clear mind, it's going to be hard for them to make decisions and to, enact things effectively. So their plan probably went better than even intended, because they probably didn't think that the king would go mad after they tried to possess him, but that's what it ended up doing, even though the original intention was just to possess him and have him carry Diablo because it was a great, awesome king. And maybe the ideal form to carry Diablo was Leoric, but yeah, they had to settle on Albrecht, his son, since he was more naive. He wasn't going to be able to resist something as mighty as Diablo, so they had to go for an alternative mortal form for Diablo to take hold of. More enemies. What else is new? Come on, Golem, do your thing. This is what you're for. You have one job. Get in there. That's why I let you get in there instead of me, so I don't have to deal with them exploding as they die. Might as well use this. With the phasing that I forgot that I picked up. Might as well read some of these spell books, I guess. I think I don't really need them, but... Yeah, there's so much stuff on the ground here that if I click the Alt key, I can't even move through here without clicking on something. And let's summon my golem again. I guess reading some of these books will end up getting some of my mana back, so might as well. Frost Shard, Telekinesis. Okay, it doesn't seem that there's anything more up there. Don't know if there's anything else that I need to explore necessarily. I just don't know if there's like a quest item that I need for that particular puzzle. Don't think that there's anything over there. Okay, so I might go on over there now and see if I can figure out what the puzzle is. I will pause it and then return to the episode if I need to. I'm not sure if it's just activating things in a particular order, if I need to, or if I need to like drop an item onto a spot to hold a certain number of buttons at the same time, or if I need to find something on this level to press the buttons here. I think this would be the island of the Sunless Sea. Fleshdoom is described as a demon that I'm probably going to find maybe on the hell level or something, or maybe I need to explore all of this level just to make sure that I don't miss him. But
Hey, you there. Come here, listen up. You know about the island where angels watch? Pick the right rocks, but you better shield your eyes. Shield everything. I know, 'cause I've been there and...
so it says pick the right rocks. I don't know what that means. If I need to pick the right one first and then go around like I'm going right. Like I'm making a right turn here and continually going right, I guess. I'm assuming my golem doesn't activate these things. Jeez, I just want to close that door and get out of the way of the icons here. Okay, so that doesn't seem to be working. So I'm not sure if there's any real clue as to what the pattern is here. At least as far as in-game clues. I mean, obviously there's a solution to this, but I just don't know if there's an in-game. Is there any way I can get rid of my golem so he doesn't get in the way here? Well, let's just try and figure this out. Yeah, so I'm not really sure if there's any pattern here or if there's any particular thing that I can really do to... I don't know if there's any like in-game clues to indicate what the pattern is or how to figure it out. He said something, Farnham, I guess, I'm assuming this is that same quest, but Farnham said something about picking the right rocks. I don't know, I guess maybe I can town portal back to town and talk to Kane about this and see if maybe he knows anything, but I want to see if I can figure out by doing, if I can figure out via in-game clues, then I'll do that first if possible. If not, then I'll just pause the recording and get back to it, but... Because I don't want to have to resort to, you know, guessing and all that. I want to see if there are any clues here, but...
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
While we're at it, we'll identify those and see if they're useful or not. I mean, not terrible, but we're not going to use that, obviously. That'd be something for a warrior in the early game. Good for a tank, but we're not going to use that as much as the resistances, obviously. Resistances later on in the game are really what you need more than simply raw hit points, because otherwise you just lose them way too fast. It's not a bad ring, but it's not as good as what we've got already. We already have resist all on these two rings. And I think that resist all is probably the most important thing to have.
Well, what can I do for you?
Let's give you these things. I mean, it is a unique ring, but it's just we already have things that are better than it right now, so no point in keeping it along. 5 to all attributes is fine, but this is 6 to all attributes, so let's just hold on to this one. Yeah, I guess they have tower shields and things in here, but the armor class bonus on shields in this game isn't exactly huge, at least from the shields that we've encountered so far. Yeah, I guess weapons we're not really caring too much about what we can get now, because most of these we're not going to be able to use. I guess if our strength is slightly higher, then we could use a couple of things, but it is kind of odd that some of these weapons end up having a fairly hefty dexterity requirements, because that's going to be a bit difficult for a warrior to achieve all of those attributes.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Not that one. We want to talk to him about the island of the Sunless Sea.
An island where angels watched? Although Farnham's memory is often cloudy these days, that does seem familiar. Perhaps the ancient chronicles of the Sin War can help us. Ah, yes, here is something. In a time long forgotten, a sea of blue rested on the edge of the fiery netherworld. This was an oasis for those who acted as the watchmen over the gates of hell. Angels and warriors of light could use this place to heal themselves and gather their strength. It was also a staging area where they could train and prepare for the Sin War. Legends speak of a trinity of rocks that hide the path to this island of the Sunless Sea.
So, Trinity of Rocks. I mean, they say Trinity of Rocks. I don't know if I'm only supposed to press 3 of the buttons of the 4 buttons, because there's 4 of them, even though the NPCs are talking about a Trinity here, but there's 4 buttons, so I'm not sure if that means I only need to press 3 of the buttons to be able to open the path there.
I sense a soul in search of answer. This legendary place is real and great reward.
Alright, well, she has nothing to say about it, so it's... I guess we can check out her shop, I guess.
Search of answers.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat resist magic and plus 73%. Like, all of this, like, obviously the axe is kind of useless for attacking, but all of those abilities are so good for us, so I doubt we're going to find a better staff than it. Yeah, I don't think that we need anything here. Alright, so let's head on back, and... I mean, they're talking about a trinity of rocks. I don't think I'm going to end up finding rocks on the ground to do anything with.
Hey, you there. Come here, listen up. You know about the island where angels watch?
A trio of rocks and pick the right rocks. I don't know, maybe this other thing is about Fleshdoom. I don't know. Maybe this little puzzle thing leads us to Fleshdoom? Because, like, we're not seeing a trio of rocks, and that's what they're talking about.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while. The priest Tremaine is a holy man from an ancient order. Their dealings with the evil forces at work are well respected and well documented. I, too, have heard legends that speak of the cursed demon blade called Shadow Fang. It is said to consume the tortured souls of its victims. These souls are trapped within its ebon blade and augment its unholy power. I have also read of a great hell forge where even the mightiest weapon could be created or destroyed. Tread carefully when dealing with Shadow Fang and its master.
Okay, so as far as this little thing that I found in the caverns here, I have to assume that this is the Island of the Sunless Sea quest. So, because it doesn't seem like it's describing... It's not really describing the Demon Fang at all. Or not Demon Fang, Fleshdoom. So they said to pick the right 3 rocks, but I'm not finding, I haven't found any rocks around here anywhere. And I'm not sure if there are any rocks around here that I need to pick from. I don't know if I need to find 3 rocks. Like, basically, I don't know if I need to find 3 rocks and then place the rocks down on the buttons or something like that. Obviously, it would be helpful to know if I need to go ahead and find some rocks and then place them on the buttons in a certain... on the certain buttons, I guess, and put them on the right ones. But I just don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do or not. It's not really... I haven't found anything on this level that indicates that there are 3 rocks. So the only 2 things that I can really glean from it is that either there's 3 rocks somewhere and it's just hard to find them because the cavern walls cover up so much and I can't see the rocks, or the quest was incomplete and they didn't have time to put in the 3 rocks, but all the other things with the quest were done and they just didn't have time to put in the rocks part of the quest that the NPCs indicate. So yeah, that's basically the only two conclusions that I can come to with this quest. I mean, it seems like an interesting quest, don't get me wrong, but it feels like it's incomplete. Geez, I'm having to go all the way around and do all this stuff. Pathfinding, guys. Pathfinding, that's what this is. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing anything here in regards to the quest. So I guess if there are 3 rocks around here somewhere, then I'm hoping I can find them, but... Let's put on mana shield here. Yeah, because nowhere that I can find, I'm not really finding rocks laying around anywhere. I'm not seeing it with the Alt key here, which should usually show items laying on the ground. Let's just firebolt all of them to death. So yeah, I'm not really finding any rocks that are on the ground that Kane is talking about, and obviously Farnham and Kane have both talked about rocks and needing to pick the right ones, and that there's a trio of rocks and all that business, but I'm not really finding any rocks. That's the problem. There's no rocks around here that I'm finding that seem to have any relation to the quest. So I'm not sure if there are any rocks I'm supposed to find anywhere, or if the quest was incomplete and they didn't program in the rocks that are referred to, and you just have to press the buttons in a certain random order that you... there's no way of knowing because they don't clue you in on the order, they just clue you in on the rocks. I don't know. At least just to my understanding, they clue you in on the rocks, but they don't clue you in on activating switches in a certain order, which is what it is that we found. And I'm being able to firebolt him to death.
I cannot get there from here. I cannot get there from here. I cannot get there from here.
Alright, come on, Golem. There we go. Move out of the way. There we go. I wish there were a button to where you could move your Golem out of the way or something like that. I mean, obviously he'll move on his own once you get close enough to him and then move away, but be nice if he didn't have to. Alright, so it looks like we're not really finding anything, so I think we're going to have to go back to the old brute force method, as we would call it. Brute forcing is basically where you just try every possible combination that you could think of, and you just try and brute force it, and hope that you get lucky enough to be able to solve it by just trying every possible combination that you can think of, or every combination that's possible. And then at some point in time, you're bound to go ahead and get the correct combination here. So I've tried figuring out via quests. I wasn't able to do that. The in-game text doesn't really indicate what the order is here. So I'll do this a couple more times, but I don't anticipate that I'm going to solve it on camera here. So I'll do this a little bit more. It talked about a trio of buttons, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to press only 3 buttons here for 3 rocks or stones or whatever. I'll try it as best I can if my golem doesn't get in the way. Yeah, for some of these, whenever I hear the switch flip or whatever on these things, there's like some hard to spot, but if you're wearing headphones, you can hear it kind of ambient noise going on in the background for these buttons. I don't know if that's supposed to be an indication of pressing the right button. Maybe for headphone users, they can notice something with the button presses making certain kinds of noise. Well, at least I decided to go ahead and try this enough to eventually get the right combination. So I guess, even though I don't really know what the actual combination was, I eventually must have gotten it right. So at least we have it on camera that somewhere here I found the right combination. So if I look back at the video footage, then I guess if anyone else is struggling with this puzzle, then they can watch my footage there and hopefully get the correct combination if they have trouble with it. So, as I surmised, this is the island of the Sunless Sea that the quest was talking about. So let's see what's behind the cavern here. Well, this is different. Obviously, it's still a cavern-like area, but it's much different from all the other areas. The lava is instead like a greenish kind of ooze type looking thing, kind of like, this looks like the exact same color as lots of the ooze of the Nickelodeon era back in the 1990s, where they would have lots of green goo and stuff like that, or ooze type things and ooze type villains and things like that. So I'm not sure what the corrupted flame did, but I'm assuming it did something here. I don't know if it's meant to activate like a passage or a door here or something. Alright, so we have a path up here that we can go. But I probably want my golem to go ahead and take point here for these enemies, I'm hoping. Oh, and this is also new. We have a new type of enemy that I don't think I've seen before here. They're kind of like a walking, like, skeletal demon type thing, it looked like. I can't quite tell. But I mean, it's certainly something different as far as enemies go. I'm glad to see it. Let's see if these can hit anything. Yeah, so I'm just kind of letting the enemies speak for themselves, because, like, these are certainly different. Very, very different, to be honest. Let's heal you one more time. Lightning's probably going to be more effective than Firebolt here, because we have the... I think those fire-breathing gargoyle enemies, I think that they're immune to fire, I'm pretty sure. But this is really different. I'm not sure what it has to do with Diablo or the lore of the world. Obviously, Cain talks about the lore, but I'm not sure what relation it has to the overarching lore of Diablo in the actual game. Some of these quests have to do with like demons and different things, so I'm just not sure why the island of the Sunless Sea is... There's a bunch of undead Balrogs and stuff like that here. I don't know why they're here at the Sunless Sea, I suppose. Maybe I need to talk to Cain again to maybe understand it a bit better, but... Seems kind of odd that the Sunless Sea is here, in a demon sort of infested area. Alright, so let's quaff that. Get our golem back out again. And then let's deal with the undead Balrogs that I don't know if they're spitting acid or if they're spitting magic at us or if they're spitting cold at us. It might just be like a plain magic attack. Balrogs usually throw fiery inferno magic at us if they get close enough. Undead Balrogs just seem to throw magic at us. Just plain unadulterated magic. Yeah, I guess if there was like a D&D equivalent, it would probably be necrotic damage, if anything. And gosh, dang it, Golem, you gotta go ahead and get out of the way here. Get in there and do your job and let me run. But yeah, their sound effects are somewhat similar to Balrogs, I think, but they seem to be sending just pure magic energy at us. But for the 5th edition D&D equivalent, or the general D&D equivalent, or tabletop, it'd be necrotic damage or negative energy, essentially. Evil alignment damage, that kind of thing. I don't know where my golem is heading off to, but he's not really fighting anything. He's just wandering around as he pleases. I'm just hoping that these chests down here in this place aren't just like trapped monstrosities. They're looking to kill me. Nothing useful down here, but that's okay. But yeah, it's nice to actually have, at the very least, side quest areas that are a break from the norm, because once you've gone through the second section or the second level of each section, you've kind of already seen most of what there is to see as far as like the scenery and all that. So it's nice to have a bit of a change of pace on each of the levels. You feel ready for the battle. So I guess the corrupted flames here are probably part of finishing this quest here. But yeah, it's nice to just see changes of scenery to kind of break from the monotony after going through sections of the dungeon for what seems like forever, especially with the Belzebub mod implementation. You have to do lots of backtracking and going through levels again and fighting through enemies over and over again on the same levels that you might have already traveled once or twice before, because you have to, you know, reload a save and all that. You can't just jump right back into where you were, because inevitably we're all going to have to take a break from playing the game, so you're not going to just be able to play it all in one straight shot. So it is nice to see side quests try and give you some different scenery to work with and give you a bit of variety as far as like the levels go. So I guess those undead Balrogs are immune to cold damage, so maybe they're throwing cold damage at us. Which I guess maybe from a thematic standpoint might make sense, because, you know, dead bodies are usually, they go cold, as they say. So I don't know, maybe if that's the designer's reference to bodies going cold when they're dead and all that, and they're undead and everything, so I don't know. That's just my haphazard assumption, which is probably not correct, but I'm assuming there's some kind of design intent there for the enemies to be immune to cold, but not any other damage type. But as long as none of them are immune to lightning, at least I have pretty reliable damage against them. Probably a unique creature down here somewhere that I'm going to have to contend with. And yeah, it does appear to be cold damage, because I noticed that my golem here is turning blue, and when like a character or something turns blue on here, that generally indicates that you're slowed from cold damage. Cold damage in Diablo games tends to slow you down as like a secondary effect, so Does seem that way. There's probably another corrupted flame up here somewhere. There it is. Let's go ahead and kill these guys. Keeps on moving at the last second to avoid my lightning burst. And it looks like I leveled up here, so let's just try and keep going heavy into strength and magic. Strength is just going to help us wear better armor and helmets and different things, and we do kind of at some point we're going to need the AC or to use the awesome unique gear that I'm sure that we're going to come across at some point. Because our breastplate, while it's great, it's still not the best we can do as far as armor goes. It's not on the upper end.
I cannot cast that.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so it looks like the onslaught's over at the very least. Yeah, I just like to stay away from the action as a sorcerer as much as possible because I know the threat that these things offer against us, so I am just not going to risk it. And usually you don't want to wander around with low health at all, so I have to assume that this is part of the quest here, and it appears to be some kind of, I don't know if it's a demon or an angel or what it is. Take care of those things. Looks like we have guardians that are coming back for more, apparently. And this is the money one, which doesn't translate too well to later stages of the game where the amount of money it gives you doesn't really matter anymore. Kill him. Just get rid of all the enemies that are around this sort of encircled around this statue thing here. Early in the game, that shrine is not bad, but again, a couple hundred gold pieces is just not really worth it at this point. Probably not even worth my time, but I'm just getting rid of it here to make sure it doesn't take up the inventory space for us. Culted armor is irrelevant at this point. Oh, we want to make sure we pick up the amulet, though. Let's do that first. Those might have sell value, and they might possibly be useful to us if they have a really super duper powerful enchantment on them. I'm assuming that we have to take care of more corrupted flames elsewhere before this thing will activate, I guess, as part of the quest. Just to be safe, though, let's move these over there. Drink a potion. I don't know if activating these corrupted flames is going to have like a boss enemy appear out of nowhere, so I just want to make sure I have my mana shield at full health here. Maybe we'll switch to Guardian too in case I need to run. Okay, so it does appear that I probably have to activate more of those corrupted flames before I can get that thing to activate the way that it should. And now I gotta wait for my golem to catch up, because that's just the way of life, apparently. The meaning of life is that golems always have to catch up to you, no matter what. And then they have to block the tight choke points that cause you to scramble around like a chicken with your head cut off. Alright, so let's move out of the way so we can move on through here. Okay, so I guess he doesn't want to move for us. Now he does, apparently. So that guardian, I guess, maybe was stuck in place for some reason. Maybe there's another guardian back there that was in his way. Don't you just hate it when that happens? It's like someone else is in your way and you're like, move! I want to get over there! I can take the shot right now if you get out of my way! It's like, come on, we have a hero to kill! Get out of my way! I'm ready to go right now! Get out of the way! Yeah, I imagine there's lots of demons and undead that are in the hero killing business, so they're just flip-flopping, going sideways, thrice ways, and every which way to avoid my lightning. So that was the area that we were at before, at the sort of crossroads down there. I mean, this is a fairly hefty area, kind of like the area with the orbs on top of the pedestal type things shooting magic at us. That was also a pretty nifty area. And we have a bookcase over here, which I hope doesn't mean that we have another unique creature to contend with. If so, I might be a bit upset, but...
Not enough mana.
Okay, so now is the time to smash that golem in there.
I cannot cast that yet.
Okay, so I don't know if we killed everything over here, but I guess there was a unique creature because there's a bunch of gold, and that usually means a unique creature was killed. They either drop magic items or exorbitant amounts of gold, and so we got exorbitant amounts of gold. They do not want to sit still for me, that's for sure. Mind Mace, from what I remember, is not that grand of a spell, so I don't know that this is going to have any sell value to pick up that staff. Well, I guess I didn't really need to do that because a spell book would end up getting some mana back, so maybe I didn't really need to do that. But, oh well. I'll just save these for when I need the next mana potion thing here, so... Yeah, the alternatives to your potions, just read a spellbook and it'll get you back your magical power straight away. Okay, so that wasn't creepy and ominous at all. I have to assume that that was maybe the last corrupted flame that we had to take care of here, because that's the first time I heard that sound effect. That was totally not creepy at all. And totally not looking to kick my ass as the hero of the game. So I'll just go back in here and double check just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because I'm just a thorough little bastard here that takes up too much time doing that. I guess, was there anything to the left here? I guess not much. Stuff that I already explored, I think, is over here. Yeah. Okay, so that was the last of the corrupted flames, and then I guess up here is where we found that one statue, which I have to assume at this point, I have to assume it's some kind of demon that's looking to kill me. I mean, it had wings and everything, so I'm assuming it's some kind of demon. Maybe lightning's going to be more likely to hit it. It was up here. It's right up there in the mini-map. You can kind of see up there. So let's see what's going on up here in Never Never Land, in the depths of hell on the Sunless Sea. Honestly, I don't even want to have to, well, you only live once. You have to kind of yellow it. I just wish I didn't. Oh my gosh, what on earth are we dealing with here? Alright, so my golem's getting, really getting his ass kicked here. Come on, kill, kill, main, kill! Well, that was something. Like, yeah, that spell that they were using, I don't know which spell that was. I don't even know if we would have it. I think it might have been something like Bone Spirit, but it did a lot of damage on a single hit on my golem. I'm just glad that my golem could lead the charge for me and allow me to just lightning this guy to the face a bunch of times. I didn't even have a chance to read the name because I was more focused on killing it, so I'm going to have to look back at the footage to remember who I killed here.
I have no room.
And of course I have no room. And there's more enemies. Okay. Apparently killing the big boss of the area wasn't enough. But let's get my golem in to deal with that so I don't have to worry about this while I'm looting. I'll just do that. Ring mail is not as good as my armor, but it's a unique armor, so maybe it's just really awesome with features. So I guess the statue... I mean, I assume that the statue would come to life. Maybe this is another part of the... I mean, looking at it now, it looks like an angel. Looking at it from this angle, you can kind of see how the wings look like they have, like, light feathering to it. You know, like the angel wings look like they have sort of feathers, like bright feathers in their wings, I guess, a lot of the time. And angels, usually from my recollection of what most angels use, are swords and things like that. So this definitely looks like an angel to me. So I'm kind of surprised that maybe they meant to finish the quest and then the angel talks to you at the completion of the quest. I would have to assume that was maybe the intent, is that the angel comes to life, maybe the statue angel, and maybe they were turned to stone, or maybe it's just meant to be just a statue that's like a in memoriam of an angel, and this is like a shrine to the angel, I guess. That could also be a thing, and they meant to do that all along, just have it be a statue. But yeah, I was assuming that with that statue seeming important, that maybe they would come to life and then thank us for cleansing this area of the demons and hellspawn and undead balrogs here. But this is actually a pretty unique color. It's not really white and it's not really blue. It's sort of like sky blue. And then you have like trails of like brighter sort of white colors right here, and then you have like sky blue and turquoise colors here, and they kind of mesh and mash. Let's start off the auto map for a second because this looks really, really pretty. Like this is a game that was released back in 1996. There aren't very many games that could do this kind of effect in a game just yet. At least not in this sort of clarity. Obviously, there's lots of Super Nintendo games that use pixel graphics that were pretty damn good, and they aged very well. But the kind of motion type effects, they don't... it was hard to do them this well back then, so... It's unfortunate that they didn't get this quest into the original version of the game and get it completed. because I think this is maybe if the clues were a bit more accurate, or they had more time to implement the 3 stones or rocks, I think this would have been a pretty great quest to kind of cap off the cavern area, because the cavern area is probably the most annoying of all the areas to deal with. But so we just want our strength up to wear a better armor. But yeah, this is a pretty cool quest, and I love the color of the ooze-like color changing to something like angelic water or substance of that kind. So that was certainly a fun little quest, and I didn't really expect that. I guess I don't know if we can go back to town and talk to people about it now. Usually if it disappears from the quest list, then the quest is like done and there's nothing more to talk about. But our inventory is full anyway. Let's see if there's anyone that has anything to say about the conclusion of that quest and what we just accomplished. I mean, certainly the description that the NPCs gave seemed different from what we encountered during the actual quest, but it certainly sounded more extravagant. I guess there's the hell crack that we're used to. We'll go down there in a second. I guess I must have seriously overlooked that before when I was looking around for it. It must have just gone hiding in plain sight, as it were.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
I guess I'll have you identify items for us for now, and then we'll talk to that one priest dude up here. Or I guess he's that guy was talking about Fleshdoom. So I guess the island of the Sunless Sea wasn't something we even talked to that priest dude about.
I was asked.
No. Okay, so Farnham, you have anything to say about the Sunless Sea after all that stuff that went on there? Oh, jeez, I'm trying to click on it.
Drinking peace?
Clicking is hard, people. Clicking is way too hard.
I like Pepper. He really tries, you know. Listen here, you should make sure you get to know him. Good fellow like that with people always wanting help. Hey, I guess that'd be kind of like you, hero. I was a hero too, you know.
And he's just kind of trailing off at the end there. I was a hero too, and I'm back in my day. But yeah, I guess completing one quest is probably enough for this episode, and maybe to keep the episode a bit more brief. Probably for the better, to try and make sure that it's not too lengthy. Some of my episodes do get kind of lengthy in length, so I think that this is a good time to call it. We completed a quest that we were looking to go ahead and experience for the first time, and were able to defeat some evil beings, no doubt, and undead Balrogs were certainly a first for me. Even the second game, to my recollection, doesn't have any enemies like them, and it's a shame that some of these enemies that were cut from the original release didn't make it in, because some of these enemies are really cool, and it would have been nice to see them if they had had the time to implement them. So, undead Balrogs, they're pretty cool enemies, and obviously, I mean, it is a bit interesting that they deal cold damage, whereas Balrogs are all about fire damage, and then the undead ones, they're about cold, so there's a little interesting little, you know, the flip side, the other side to the Balrog, I guess, you know. But I thank everyone for watching, and I hope that you all enjoyed that quest, and I'm glad that I was able to figure out the puzzle switches on camera so you could see for yourself how to get down into that tunnel. I guess if anyone has trouble with it, now you know what the combination is. It's definitely not as easy as the combination of someone's luggage from the movie Spaceballs, I'll tell you that. But I hope everyone enjoyed it all the same. It was a very interesting quest, and seeing that transition to the sort of white water was certainly a sight to behold for a game in 1996. So, a game released in 1996. It has some pretty impressive things about it that were cut from the game. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you all had fun. And I hope you all are able to join me next time in this journey to go ahead and defeat the primeval Diablo and the game of the same name. So, appreciate you all watching. have fun, stay safe, and have a wonderful day. And as always, take care.